Most professional drivers agree that many accidents are the result of one or more drivers not paying full attention to their driving duties. This lack of attention results in the driver not being able to respond appropriately to changing driving conditions. Driver inattention often falls into the following categories. Taking your eyes off the forward roadway, such as when you are looking for a building address or sightseeing. Performing secondary tasks, such as reading or dialing a cell phone. Daydreaming, and fatigue. Part of the allure of truck driving is the ability to see all parts of the country and the interesting activities along the way. While this can be alluring, it can also result in an accident if the driver takes his or her eyes off the forward roadway for long periods of time. Drivers should limit their amount of sightseeing and stay focused on the road ahead, no matter how interesting things look along the roadway. Checking mirrors and blind spots is a critical safety practice professional drivers do regularly. This practice does, however, take a driver's eyes off the forward roadway. To remain safe, it must be done quickly so as to minimize the amount of time your eyes are away from the forward roadway. A National Highway Transportation Safety Administration study found drivers should limit their mirror and blind spot scanning to less than 2 seconds and ideally 1 second or less. Taking your eyes away from the forward roadway for more than 2 seconds greatly increases your crash risk. Drivers should develop a regular scanning pattern which includes scanning ahead, to the left and right mirrors, and 2 blind spots. Make sure not to move your eyes away from the forward roadway for more than 2 seconds, and again, preferably less than 1 second. There are situations when a driver must look away from the roadway in performing their general driving duties, such as looking for a building address. In these cases, the driver should increase his or her following distance and limit their searches to less than 2 seconds. Performing secondary tasks, such as reading a map or dialing a cell phone, diverts your eyes and mind away from your driving duties, often for several seconds at a time. This accident occurred in broad daylight when the driver crossed the center line while he reached down in his cab for a soda. A recent National Highway Transportation Safety Administration study on distracted driving among truck drivers found, not surprisingly, that performing secondary tasks greatly increases your crash risk. It found that your crash risk increases by 4 times while reading, 6 times while dialing a cell phone, 7 times while looking at a map, 9 times while writing, 10 times while interacting with a dispatch device, 10 times while performing complex activities such as cleaning a side mirror or rummaging through a bag, and 23 times while texting. All these distractive tasks are within the driver's control to limit or eliminate altogether. With an increased crash rate of 23 times normal, it is understandable why the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration banned texting in commercial motor vehicles. The FMCSA has also banned handheld cell phone use for commercial motor vehicle drivers. Both rules establish significant fines for violations and disqualify drivers for multiple offenses. Why are all these activities so hazardous? Because they distract a driver for long periods of time, often for 4 or more seconds. While 4 seconds may not seem like a long time, a truck traveling at 60 miles per hour will travel 352 feet, or more than the length of a football field in that short amount of time. Driving while distracted is like driving blind. A lot of hazardous situations can develop while distracted. Secondary tasks should not be performed while driving. They should be performed while safely parked so as to avoid distracting you on the road. Daydreaming is also a form of driver inattention. Drivers spend so much time on the road, it is not surprising that they periodically allow their minds to wander from the task at hand. While daydreaming, the driver's eyes may be seeing what is happening, but the mind is not processing the information. How many times have you snapped to on the roadway, not remembering the last couple of miles? Drivers should practice the concept of situational awareness to keep their mind focused on driving. Situational awareness was originally developed for airline pilots to keep their minds focused on flying, but applies just as well for keeping a truck driver's mind focused. Many truck driving schools teach a form of situational awareness. With situational awareness, a driver's mind is continually scanning, processing, and anticipating the driving environment around them. The mind is kept busy and does not have time to daydream. To successfully utilize situational awareness, you need to develop a consistent system of scanning, processing information, anticipating, and taking corrective action if necessary. The first step is to develop a scanning pattern as described previously, including scanning ahead, to the left and right mirrors, and to blind spots. Make sure not to move your eyes away from the forward roadway for more than 2 seconds, and preferably less than 1 second. This scanning allows you to quickly identify potential hazards and make any necessary adjustments to avoid them. The second step is to process the information by telling yourself what you see. That gray car is coming up fast. The third step is to anticipate by telling yourself what you think may happen. That car may pull out in front of me. And the fourth step is to take corrective action if necessary, such as covering your brakes or braking in this situation. If you find your mind wandering, quickly get back into the situational awareness cycle. These steps are a continual cycle that never stops while driving. Drivers understand that driving while severely fatigued can be dangerous, but moderate drowsiness can also impact a driver's ability to recognize and respond to hazards. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has found that driving while moderately or severely drowsy increases your crash risk by nearly 6 times. Drowsy driving can occur during the day as well as at night. Drivers who become drowsy should immediately find a safe place to park and get adequate rest.